Hi, I'm Michelle. Welcome to today's class. Today's class is a Vinyasa class for all levels. We're going to focus a little more on hamstring and hip flexibility and strength. So when you're ready, let's start in child's pose. Taking this time to stop in order to restart again. I personally think this is the most important part of the class, is where we start to connect to our breath and we settle into a shape in our body that might not feel as relaxing as we want it to at first. But we're bringing our awareness onto our mat and giving our mind a rest. Hitting the pause button on everything off of the mat and hitting the play button on our breath and in our practice. We'll take a few cleansing breaths together. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Open up your mouth and exhale all the way to empty. Even say the word ah. Again, deep breath in. Long, slow exhale. Ah. One more. And now we'll narrow our breath down to just the nose, Ujjayi breathing, creating a slight restriction in the back of your throat as you inhale and exhale, in and out of the nose, pulling breath through the back of the throat. Start to activate your pose by stretching your fingertips out a little further and then walking your hands over to the right, slightly picking up the torso and reaching through the left side of the body, creating a sensation that you can either move into a little deeper or back off if it's too much. It's best to go at this practice slow rather than force it. Yoga is something we can practice for the rest of our lives if we do it correctly, mindfully, and we take our time. Breathing into the left side of the body, opening up the ribs, the intercostal muscles, getting up into the scapula, the subscapula, moving breath all the way up into the fingertips. Exhale all the way down to empty, feeling the low ribs drawing in towards each other and down towards your hip bones. And then your next inhale will pick the torso up and walk your hands to the other side. Know when to go for it and know when to back off. Relax your face and jaw and start to turn your gaze behind the eyes, making this practice almost meditative, where we observe things as they show up without reacting or labeling, but yet letting go of our expectations and learning to settle down. One more breath over here. And on your next inhale, bring it back to center. And then set an intention or an affirmation for your practice And then something to carry you through the rest of today that reminds you to breathe, to connect to your center. And then lift yourself up to all fours. Line up the creases of the wrists, elbows, and shoulders. Spread the fingers wide. Stack your hips over your knees. And pick up your feet and roll around your ankles. Place the tops of the feet down. Lift the low belly. Draw your low ribs in. And then just a few little circles in the wrists. Moving the weight of your shoulders forward, to the side and back. If you want to make it a little bigger, move the shoulders a little more over the fingertips. And then reverse it, inhaling the other direction. Keeping the low belly drawing in as the tailbone lengthens back, crown of the head lengthens forward. Bring it back to neutral, and we'll do a few cat-cows with a little core activation. So we'll inhale into that back bend, lifting our gaze, magnetize your shoulder blades together, and lift your tail. On an exhale, push down with the hands and the tops of the feet. Start to round, and right about the middle, pick up your left knee to hover above the mat and your right thigh up to the belly. Inhale as both knees come back down, finding your back bend. Magnetize the shoulders, lift your gaze and tail. Exhale, round and curl, spreading the shoulders across the back. Pick up the right knee to hover and draw your left knee in towards the belly. Inhale, let the belly go. Feel your expression here. Don't rush it. We're just warming up. Exhale, round and curl. And you can leave out this and just do your regular cat-cows. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. One more like this. Bringing it back to neutral with tucked toes. Start to circle out your hips. Maybe adding those little circles at the top for the wrists. Or you can stay back and just circle in the hips. Move back as far as feels good. Move forward as far as feels good. Move side to side, really important to get into the hips and your IT band. Maybe even just sway the hips side to side. Reverse your circle if you haven't already. And then we'll bring it back to neutral. Keeping your toes tucked, we're going to flip the palms up, fingertips face each other. We're going to bend the elbows and make a fist. And then we're going to try and straighten the arms. Keep the fist. Don't worry about the arms. Maybe bend again and try to straighten. Make sure you're lifting your low belly to the spine, drawing your heart forward. Just one more deep breath in and a deep breath out. Go ahead, bend your elbows, lean back towards your toes, place your hands flat. Gaze at your hands. Make sure your fingers are spread nice and wide. Root down your index knuckles and thumbs. Pick your knees up. Draw your lower belly in. Take a breath here. On an exhale, start to send your hips up nice and high, working your way into the back of your legs in your downward facing dog. Pedal out your heels, left, right, or you can lower both heels down and up. You can swing your heels right and left, moving with intention, moving with the breath, and just kind of exploring what might be going on in your body. Shake the head out, yes and no. And then we'll cultivate some stillness in our active rest, which is down dog. Make sure your fingers are spread wide. You're pushing back your belly towards your thighs, rooting your heels towards the earth. If they don't touch, keep your knees slightly bent. Wrap your upper arm bones in towards your ears and down towards the mat. Wrap your low ribs in and down towards your hip bones, navel to spine. Sit bones to the sky. Inhale, lift your heels. Look to the top of your mat. Soften your knees and step your right foot to the outside of your right hand. And then we're just going to move into lizard without dropping the knee. Inhale, pulling the heart forward. And then we'll exhale back with a straight leg, maybe even float the right toes up and the left heel down. Inhale, bend, melting the left hip. Be mindful that your right knee doesn't go over your toes. And lift up the hips as you exhale, float your toes up. Just one more inhale. Just notice if there's more room for you to explore different areas of your body, like pulling the heart forward and the shoulders back. Exhale. Firm up that right thigh. Firm up your left thigh. Awesome. Bend the knee, and this time lower your left knee. Untuck your back toes and inhale, sweep up with your right arm. Reach back with your right hand to grab your left foot or ankle. And if that leg is really tight, the front of the left thigh, just reach back if you can't grab the foot. It's good enough. Make sure you're not sinking into the left wrist. When you're ready, you'll bring your right hand back down, tuck the back toes under, and meet me in a high plank pose. Take a deep breath in, shoulders over the wrists or a little more over your toes, low belly to the spine, low ribs wrap in and down towards your hip bones, protraction in the shoulders, and then your low body, low back, tailbone towards your heels, thighs, front of the thighs pushing up into the back of the legs, heels over your toes. Inhale. Exhale, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, low push-up. You can use your knees. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, high plank. It's the last one. Exhale, low push-up. Inhale this time, cobra. Pull the heart forward and up. Settle in here. If you have to bend your elbows or if you want to lower all the way down to your belly for baby cobra. Listen to your body. Move accordingly. Relax your face and jaw. When your face tenses up and the jaw, your teeth grit or the lips press together, that's an indication you need to back out of the pose a little and find a lighter expression where you can breathe without too much effort. On an exhale, we're going to lift the hips, tuck the toes, and lift the hips back up, downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Lift your heels, look to the top of the mat. Slowly step your left foot to the outside of your left hand. And then we'll move here. Inhale as the right hip melts. And exhale as you lift your hips up and back. Explore the feet. If that right heel can lower, try to lift your left toes. But don't make that part of the pose if it's too much. Make each pose tailored to your body, your needs. Inhale. Pull the heart forward and up. Exhale, lift the hips up and back in space. Using our breath to anchor us, but also to create a sense of lightness in the pose. So we want to connect to the grounding force in order to rise. Last time, lifting the hips up and back. And then this time we'll bend the knee, lower the right knee. Reach forward, up and back for that right foot. And maybe your hand doesn't grab it, but you're still reaching. You're still pushing with your right hand, trying to elevate. Make sure your left knee is stacked over the ankle. And we'll gently, slowly tuck the back toes, lift the knee, and this time we're going to step the right foot to the right hand. Turning your toes out and your heels slightly in for your yoga squat. Bringing your hands together, elbows to the inside of the knees. If you're super flexible and you're just hanging out here, try to find some lift, some grounding force in your heels and a little buoyancy in the hips. And if your hips are really tight and you're up here and you're like, oh my goodness, my legs. Yeah, that's awesome too. Just one more deep breath in. On your next inhale, reach your arms up, push through your heels, and rise all the way up to stand. Turn your heels back so your toes and heels line up. Firm the thighs and lift your gaze. Energize your fingers. Arms are nice and long, side body getting longer, low belly pulling back and tailbone down towards the heels. On an inhale, look forward, bring your hands out in front of you. We're going to take 10 pulsations here. taking a squat all the way down. Try to get your thighs parallel to the earth. And then inhale as we come up, push your arms back and lift your heels. Exhale, lower. Inhale up. Exhale, lower. Inhale up. That's 3. We're going for 10. Inhale. Exhale. One more with this breath. We're going to inhale down and exhale lift. And if you prefer the other breath, use the other breath. But know that you're not tied to my rhythm of breathing. As long as you're breathing in one way and exhaling out the other with the rhythm of your movement. This is your last one. We'll inhale all the way down and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower your hands. Step back with your right foot first. Step back to plank and hold for 5. Lift the thighs. Lift the low belly to support the spine. Wrap the ribs in to tighten up the core. Spread the shoulder blades across the back. Feel your heart lifting up between that space. On an exhale, lift your hips. Downward facing dog. Inhale, high plank. Shift the weight over your wrists. Exhale, low push-up with or without your knees. Inhale, plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Last one, inhale, plank. And then the full vinyasa. Exhale, low push-up. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your right leg back and up. Bend the knee and open up your hip. Now, a lot of times that right armpit wants to open up. Try to keep the right shoulder parallel to your left by just looking under your left armpit. Stay here for another big breath or flip your dog. Right foot lands lightly behind the left. Lift up the hips. And then we'll circle the right hand around. Inhale the right leg back and up. And exhale the right foot all the way up between your hands. Lower your back knee, keeping the back toes tucked. Inhale, sweep with the arms to the sky. Biceps by your ears, finding a little back bend, magnetizing your shoulder blades towards each other, pulling your right hip back and inner spiraling your left thigh. With the exhale, melt the hips. With the inhale, reach with your fingertips, getting longer through the sides of the waist. On an inhale, bring your hands to your heart and bring your left elbow to the outside of your right knee or thigh. If that's too much, you can place the forearm on the right thigh, pressing the palms together, finding your twist, and feel free to lift up that back knee and feel free to open up and spread your wings. If you have a bind, take your right hand, palm up on your back. See if your left hand can reach through the hole to find that right hand. Move the shoulders back aligned with your hips. Stay on the ball of your back foot. And then slowly we'll release the left knee back down. Straighten your right leg. Lift the right toes. Half split pose. If you want to make it more intense, keep your back toes tucked and lift your knee to hover above the mat. Or maybe start to straighten out the leg a little bit more. Hover or straighten, or maybe play with the two. And remember, it's about your breath. If your breath gets compromised, back out. Take a slower approach. One more breath here. We're going to place the top of the foot down and move the top of the foot over to the right and take your left foot behind your left knee. Reach up with your left hand and exhale, find a twist. Look over your right shoulder. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Look over your left shoulder. And then look back over your right. If you have a practice where you like to do inversions, feel free. Place your hands down, shoulder width apart. Rest your right thigh from your above the right knee to your right hip on top of your elbows. We're going to slowly come out of it with a counter pose. Take the hands to the left, just like a little push-up. Kick your left foot out and rise back up. Take your right hand to the left foot. See if you can lift that left leg. And with your left hand, press down and try to lift your hip. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome. Lower the foot. Bring your hands back to center. Slide the left foot in and your right foot forward. We're going to, from this pose, take a pause here because this feels really good. We're going to come into half moon. So we'll use our hands, come up, left knee down, right knee bent, right fingertips 12 inches in front of right pinky toe. Float your left leg up, place your left hand on your hip, and open the left hip with your hand. Left leg is straight and strong. Try not to dump all the weight in that right hand. Root the right foot to get a little lighter. Put a little bend in the right knee. Step your left foot back for warrior 2. And then straighten your right leg. Gaze down at your feet. Make sure your front heel is lined up with the back arch. Arms are straight and strong. Hips and shoulders line up. Moving into triangle pose. Flip your palms. Look to the left hand. Move your hips towards that left hand. Reach with your right hand towards your right toes. Pull the belly back. We tend to lean forward here. Keep the shoulders and hips lined up as if you were up against an imaginary wall. And then tilt. Right hand comes down, inside or outside of that right foot, ankle or leg, or on a block. Arms at 6 and 12. Point your right toes, firm up the thigh. Reach your right bicep by your ear, maybe left. Dip your ears back, one more breath. Inhale, rise up and counter. Exalt your triangle. Inhale, come up. Exhale, back, warrior two. Take a deep breath in, gaze over your right middle digit. And we'll pump our warrior 3 times. If you want to add to it, lift your heel. And then as you inhale, straighten the leg, lift your toe. Exhale, warrior two, lift the heel. Inhale, straighten, lift the toes. And last one, exhale, lift the heel. Lower the heel, interlace your fingers behind you, and make a fist with your hands. Straighten out your right leg again, lift the toes, and spin your toes in. Press the palms together. Inhale, gaze up. Firm your thighs, lift your belly. On an exhale, with a flat back, come halfway down and pause. So try to get your neck nice and long. Your tailbone is slightly drawing back, not down, not up. Kneecaps are lifted. Slowly on your next exhale, fold all the way over. And let your arms start to ride off your back. If it feels good, you can shake your head no and yes. If it feels good, you can flip your palms out. Fix your gaze if your eyes are open. Helps you focus more on your breath and less on the chatter in the mind. Release your hands to your tailbone. Slide your hands down the back of your legs and hands under the shoulders. Bend your knees left and right a few times. Linger as long as you need on one side or the other. We're going to keep bending the knees, but on the straight leg, we're going to float the right toes up like our runner stretch. So feel free to go into it a little deeper or just visit it for a pause and out. On your next inhale, we're going to bring it all the way back around to a right side lunge and then revolving half moon. Left hand 12 inches in front of your right big toe. Left leg lifts, right arm lifts. Hips are closed, right foot is grounded, and everything else is elevating. Pyramid pose. Right hand down, left foot steps back about 2.5 to 3 feet behind the right but not directly. Inhale up to the fingertips, inner thighs hug, so right hip back, left hip forward. Exhale and fold, tucking your chin to your chest, bringing your belly to your spine. Feeling both feet grounded, either pulling in towards each other, feel that expression, or pushing away from each other. See which one resonates better. On your next inhale, we'll lift up and take the left hand to the inside or outside of the right foot or ankle. Take your right hand to your hip or sky. Take a full breath in here. And a full breath out. Lowering the hand and your gaze. Soften the right knee and step your left foot up to meet your right foot. Toes touch, and then toes lift. Inhale, look forward and sweep it up, chair pose. Send your hips back so the knees are as much over your ankles as you can and not in front of your toes. On an inhale, rise, lower the toes, firm the thighs, and lift your gaze. One more breath. Inhale, bringing the gaze forward. Exhale, back into chair. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, soften the knees, plant your hands, step, jump, or float back to a high, to a low, to cobra. Exhale, hips lift, downward facing dog. And then we'll inhale, lift the left leg nice and high. Bend the knee, open up the hip, and look under your right armpit to keep the two shoulders parallel to the top of your mat. Stay there or flip your dog. Left foot lands lightly behind your right. Spin your heart and hips to the sky. Find a sense of grace in this pose. Inhale, the left hand back down, the left leg high. Exhale, the left foot steps up between the hands as lightly as you can. Lower the right knee. Keep your back toes tucked and sweep it up, low crescent. Melting the hips, but lifting up and out of the low back. Breathing and stretching, creating space and length through the side of the waist. Scissor hug the inner thighs, and then exhale, bring your palms to touch and your hands to your heart. On an inhale, we'll go into our prayer twist. Right elbow to the outside of the left knee. Press the palms together to initiate the twist. Stay there or float your back knee up. If you spread your wings, spread. If you go for a half bind, left hand palm up on the back, or full bind, right hand threads through to find it. Open up the shoulder. Bring the crown of the head back aligned with your tailbone and rise out of that left hip joint by grounding into the left big toe. Firm up your right thigh by grounding into the ball of the foot. Slowly unwind. Lower the right knee. Keep the toes tucked and send your hips back in space. Lifting your left toes. Staying there or lifting the right knee. Maybe even straightening the leg. Move slow because you want to stay in that split pose. You don't want to all of a sudden come forward or lean to the side. So you might have to lower and lift a few times to have a little deeper experience in the back of the left leg and hip. We're going to place the top of the right foot down and a little bit to the left as we sit all the way back and take the left foot to the outside of the right knee. Left hand behind you, right arm reaches up nice and long, and then exhale, find your twist. Inhale, keep the twist, look over your right shoulder. Come back, look over your left shoulder. or find your inversion. Left thigh balances on the elbows. Maybe separate the legs. Slowly bringing it back in, countering the pose. And as you start to come up, kick your right foot out, flex the foot. Reach with your left hand for the outer right foot, right hand by your hip. Lift the leg, lift the hip, or try to lift both and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lowering slowly, bringing your left foot in. Take a pause here. And then we'll bring the right foot back in, left foot out, and slowly start to come up for our half moon pose. Left hand 12 inches in front of the left pinky toe. Right leg lifts, right toes face to the right. Right hand on the hip to encourage the right hip to open. And then maybe right hand to sky. Try to rotate the left rib cage to your left thigh. And we'll slowly start to bend the left knee. Step it back, warrior 2 pose. Just to line up the feet. Open up the arms, straighten your legs, flip your palms. Look to your right hand, pull your belly back, move your hips to the right, reach with your left hand. Take a breath here, keep pulling your belly back. We tend to lean forward. And then slowly as you tilt, lower the left hand down, right arm up. Check in with your alignment, bicep by your ear, maybe left. This is usually when I make a funny face, so I'm just aware of the challenge that I'm in right now. Finding lightness and grace. On an inhale, rise up and exalt your triangle. Walk your right hand down the right leg. Reach with your left hand and really push down into the left toes. Warrior 2. Inhale. Exhale. And then we'll move with our breath. Inhale as the leg goes straight. Maybe you lift your left toes. Exhale as you bend into warrior 2. Maybe you lift your heel. Inhale. And exhale. One more. Inhale. And exhale. Straighten the leg, lift the toes, and this time spin your toes in. Take your hands behind you, palms touch, just like before, but this time turn your heels in and your toes out for your yogi squat. Goddess pose. Palms press, chest opens, belly pulls back, tailbone lengthens down towards the ground. Do your best to get your thighs parallel to the mat. Take a full breath in here. Full breath out. Release your hands and cactus your elbows and then float your heels up. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower the heels, arms reach up. Inhale. And with a flat back, come halfway down. Send your hips back. Reach through your fingers. Try to lift up through the inner arches and feel your knees moving out. Slowly float your hands down. Lift the heels and turn your heels out. And then bend into the knee, right and left a few times. If you want to linger longer, linger longer. If you want to float your toes up with the straight leg, feel free. Explore those sensations. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for sensations to wake up, to breathe into, to cleanse and to heal. So we become the healers of our own bodies. One more really big breath wherever you are. And then we're going to take it all the way back around to a left side lunge. And then to revolving half moon. Right hand 12 inches in front of left big toe. Right leg lifts. Inner thighs hug. Left arm lifts. And maybe gaze goes to the left. Keep lifting your low belly. Keep lifting that right leg. Flex foot, point toes, or dorsiflex. Lower the left hand. Pyramid pose. Right foot aligned with the right hip behind the left leg. Inhale, scissor hug the inner thighs. Look forward and up. Exhale and fold. Tuck chin to chest. Firm the thighs, lift the belly. Good, one more deep breath in. On your next inhale, lift up halfway. Take your right hand to the inside or outside of the left foot or ankle. Left hand to the hip, gaze to the left. Maybe left hand to sky. Lowering the left hand next to the right foot. Soften the knees. Step your right foot next to your left. Lift all 10 toes. Look forward. Rise up to chair. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, toes down, rise all the way up to standing. Lift your gaze. Inhale, bring it forward. Lift your heels. Exhale here. Inhale, lower the heels, bend the knees, try to get your thighs parallel to the earth. We're going to do 10. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, that's 3. Going for 10. Inhale, 4. 5. 6. This is where you have that option to change your breath. Inhale down. Exhale up. 1. 2. 3. 4. Last one. 5. Float your hands down by your side. Close your eyes for a moment and just observe. Knees are a little bit soft. Feel the grounding of your feet. Feel all 10 toes, your arches in your heels. Lengthen your tailbone down and your belly back. Shoulder blades back and down, crown of the head up. On your next inhale, sweep the arms up. On an exhale, eagle wrap your right elbow underneath your left. Grab a hold of the wrist, thumb, or hands in prayer. If your shoulders are really tight, just place your hands on your shoulders. Bend the knees in your chair and float your right knee up. Cross your right knee over your left. Right toes can be used to help you balance. Right toes face down, or right toes hook behind the left leg. Stay where you are or start to hinge from your hips, reaching your knuckles or your elbows towards your knees and your fingertips towards the earth. On your next inhale, we're going to find warrior 3. Kicking the right foot straight back. Pulling the belly in. Put a little bend in the left knee. Release the hands, reach back, find bird. Standing split. Hands to the ankle, hands to the mat, or 1 and 1. Soften both knees, both hands down, right foot next to your left. Lift all 10 toes, look forward, hug the hips, pull your belly in, chair. Exhale. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, float the hands back and down. Close your eyes. Take a moment to observe. Inhale, arms out and up. Other side. Exhale, left elbow under the right elbow. Hands in prayer, or grab the wrist or thumb, or hands back on top of your shoulders. This is awesome too. Bend the knees. Ground your right foot, lift the left knee. Left toes face down. Use them as a kickstand or hook. Steady your gaze. Feel the grounding of the right foot for stability. Fix your gaze on something small for stability. And hug everything in the midline. Start to hinge from the hips, moving your elbows towards your knees, fingertips towards the earth. Slowly extending the left foot back, warrior 3. Make sure you're not gritting your teeth or pressing your lips. Bend the right knee. Open up your arms. Find bird. To standing split. Both hands down. Bring the left foot next to your right as slow as you can. Lift all 10 toes. Inhale, look forward and up. Rise up, chair. Exhale, sink deeper, squeeze more. Float the hands back, lift your heels. Try to get your torso parallel to the ground. Lower as slowly as you can your butt to your heels, and bring the arms back up. Bring your hands to your heart. Open up the knees. Bring your elbows between your hands. Rest your elbows down. If you have a crow pose, feel free and explore some creativity, some play, some fun. If you're ready, lower your seat down. Kiss the soles of the feet together. Sit up nice and tall. Pull the heart forward. Pull the belly back. And then we're going to come up for double pigeon. But of course you can go for your reclined pigeon if you like. So we'll start with stretching the left leg forward and crossing the right ankle above the right knee. You should be able to roll around your right ankle a few times, right and left. Take your hands back behind you for support and bend your left knee as much as you can without rounding the upper back, but drawing the shin parallel to the shoulders. And heart moves forward, shoulders move back and down. So you can stay here, or you can move your left foot to the right and do the best you can to stack your shins on top of each other. If you have this much space between, or even more space, it doesn't matter. I'm sure you're feeling it. If you want to take your hands on that right thigh and just give it a little external rub, not forcing it, just feeling it. If you can lower your belly all the way down and you like that sensation, feel free, go for it. Notice the knee comes down, but I'm not going to lie, I feel a tremendous amount of sensation in my right hip. And for me, this pose, sometimes it compromises my breath. So I try to relax my shoulders, my face. Because I figure if I'm going to do this pose and I'm going to lean into that discomfort, I want to relax into it so I can release tension and not create more tension. Because that's what we do when we go so deep into a pose where we think we should, but we really shouldn't. So if you went all the way flat, walk your hands to the right. If you walked your hands to the right, walk your hands all the way over to the left. When you get to the left, because that's where the real work is, you want to get your tricep, if you can, tricep to the sole of your right foot. But the right elbow must come down. So don't start creating your own version of this pose and compromising the integrity of it. If the elbow can't come down, don't do the pose. You're not ready yet. But if it's something you want to work towards, keep practicing this. If the elbow is down, your tricep is pushing the right knee to the right. You can bring your hands in prayer to the heart and find a twist. Now some of you, like Laura, are probably going to linger here for about 5 minutes, which is awesome. And hit the pause button, and you go for that, Laura. Otherwise, let's come up, bring the hands back behind you. I'm going to come onto my elbows, and I'm going to, as slowly as I can, because I really feel it, pump my knees out. Moving around the blood flow, breathing in deeply to get the oxygen moving through those joints. Right leg is straight now. Take a breath here. Left knee bend. And sit up nice and tall. Move your right toes to the right. Move your right toes to the left. Point and flex. Roll the ankle. Whatever you need to do. And then on to the other side. Left ankle. above the right knee on the thigh, and you should be able to roll around your ankle. If you start to change the pose and you bring your foot in, you should back out. You shouldn't do it just yet. Take the hands back and bend the knee. Ankle, make sure you can move it. This does not move. If this moves, back out. Maybe straighten the leg again. Or maybe you're good here. Maybe when you bring your right foot over to the left, that's when this left foot, you're like, oh, let me bring the foot in. Then you need to bring this right foot back up. Good. This is not my favorite pose, but it is Laura's and Mara's and Susan's and Melanie's and Melissa's. So you all go for it. I know it's good for me, so that's why I do it. So same on the other side. If you want to give a little rub externally to that left leg. And then if you're ready, you'll lower down. And if you lower all the way down, walk your hands over to the left first. Feels really good over here. And then we'll walk our hands over to the right. Oof. So I'm going to try and do what I did on the other side because I did it on the other side. But I'm not going to force it. So the tricep to the sole of the foot, the elbow to the ground. Elbow down. If that's not possible, don't move any further. If it's possible, ground, bring the right hand on top of the left, press and twist. Really big twist. Go ahead, bring it back to center, pause. Ooh, stay longer if you need. Hit the pause button. Bring the hands back onto the elbows. Pump it out. Now for me and for some of us, we only stayed a minute, but it worked. I feel it. Maybe straight legs, like bicycles. Moving around the blood flow with our deep breathing. This time, lower all the way down to your back. Take your arms underneath the back of the legs. Let your knees go into the elbows. Relax. Grab your hands, bear claw, hooking your fingers, and rock side to side. If it makes sense, try to straighten out your right leg. And then bend it. And then straighten out your left leg. And bend. Try to keep your back down so the slower you move, the better the body's going to respond. As the right foot straightens out and back, your tailbone's moving down and forward. Keep going. You can always do both legs at the same time. Keep your tailbone down. You can flex your feet. Point your toes or Barbie doll toes, dorsiflex, my favorite. My son used to do Barbie doll toes to me when he was younger to make me smile. Slowly bringing the knees in and crossing right knee over your left, moving in to our final twist. Open up the arms wide like a T. Place your left foot down. Scoot your hips to the right and move your knees to the left. Gaze over your right shoulder. Allow yourself to feel the full expression of this pose with your calming Ujjayi breath. Creating equal lengths in and out. Inhale, bringing it back to center. Center your hips, uncross. Bring the knees in. Rock it side to side once or twice. Place your right foot down. Scoot your hips to the left. And then bring your knees to the right. Gaze over your left shoulder. Just one more breath. Inhale, gaze center, bring the knees back up, centering the hips, uncross, bring the knees in, and lift up your head, neck, and shoulders. Give yourself a nice little hug. Lower your head down, rock it side to side if that feels good. And then we'll bring the soles of our feet together. Let the knees open up wide. Moving into our final pose of class. Arms away from your body comfortably, palms up. Let the knees gravitate apart or start to stretch each foot out to each corners of your mat. Your final pose, Shavasana, the most important one out of all of them that we do. Relax your face and jaw and use this time as a reflection of your practice, focusing on your breathing and allowing yourself to settle. I hope you received what you needed to help you move through the rest of today with love in your heart, kindness on your face, and a sense of grace and ease. Thank you, yogis. Namaste.